This video will give an overview of what we'll be doing in the first major module for the course. So the major module in this case is to find a topic for the paper. So our first segment is finding the topic that we will be using for our paper. And what we'll be doing in this case, in English 128, these are the objectives and the activities that we'll be doing in this first module. So the first activity that we'll be doing is we're going to take a look at what are the criteria that we'll use for our discipline in English 128. What we want to do is let's take a look at what are the differences and the distinctions that we can make between English 126, 127, and 128. Any of these three will satisfy the statewide requirement for English 102, but here on this campus what we've done is we divided English 102 into these three different approaches. And what we'll be doing is, once we take a look at these different approaches, we're going to take a look and identify what would be acceptable claims that we could use for our research in English 128. Then what we'll do is we'll take a look at an assortment of sample claims and determine which ones we think would be approved, that would be good claims to use for our research, which ones have possibilities but they still need some adjustment in order to be acceptable, and then which ones just would not work no matter what we did to them. After that, then, students will be able to select their own research topic and the claim related to that according to what their individual preferences or individual interests are within the disciplines of English 128. So what are the outcomes that we'll be able to accomplish or be able to do at the end of this first major module? Well, first of all, students will be able to make distinctions among topic and claim combinations that would be acceptable, which ones would be needing clarification, and which ones would be rejected as being appropriate for English 128. Second, students will then, at the end of this module, have an accepted topic and an accepted claim that then they can use as they continue to do their research for the course. Now, we should note that the topic and claim can be changed or can be adjusted any time later in the quarter. So if we take a look at the different approaches and different disciplines, first of all, in the humanities, English 126, we can see that the approach that is taken in that discipline is that life is animated, life is living, life is moral. So then the focus then is value-based. How can we determine what is good or what is bad? And then the outcome is a judgment. Now the overall nature of this is abstract, and it's variable depending upon the values that are being used. English 127 is categorical and conceptual in its approach. It's going to focus on ideals. Now, that is the approach for that one. And then definitions will be the outcome from that. And these will be objective in some cases, but generally abstract and variable. Things such as politics, political science, or sociology tend to be variable. Things such as perhaps aspects of psychology might have some kind of definition, or they might be objective in the nature as they relate to actually the natural sciences of English 128 that we'll be doing. Now in English 128, our approach is that things are testable. We're going to take a look at things from a fact-based perspective, and the outcome is that we'll be able to make predictions based upon what we can test and the facts that we can derive from that. Now, the overall nature then will be objective and consistent. And please also notice that English 128, although it's called natural science, it also includes the applied sciences such as technology, natural resources, medicine, nursing, pharmacy, business, the financial aspects of business, and so forth. So if we take a look at the actual Canvas page, then we can see that what we'll be doing first is we have the reading assignment, so the course guide pages 7 through 10, read those carefully, and the content then can be applied. Then read this additional information in order to prepare for choosing what would be an acceptable topic and claim. Then after that, what we'll do is we'll take a look at the variety of claims, and then we will do some kind of assessment. We have a list of 22 claims. Which ones do we think would be acceptable in our disciplines? Which ones would be okay, but they need still some clarifications, and which ones will we just flat out reject? After we do that, then we will have some discussion about the answers to those 22, and then following that, we'll have some feedback on what were the correct answers and why were they acceptable or not. I'll provide some samples of what would be okay but claims that would be okay but still need some clarification, and then we'll finish the module by students submitting a request for their own topic and the approval of their own topic and claim. And then once we finish that, then we'll move to segment 2, which will then be gathering content for the paper, depending on which topic is accepted and approved.